Hey guys, welcome back. This is Chapter 1, Lesson 6, Equivalent Ratios. The essential question again for this chapter is, how do you use equivalent rates in the real world? There are two goals. The first goal is to use unit rates, and the second goal is to use equivalent fractions. There isn't any vocabulary that you don't already know, so let's just get right to it. The first goal, use unit rates. The goal here is to determine if ratios or rates are equivalent. And what I mean by equivalent is, do they have the same relationship? When you break it all down, do they express the same idea? Okay. Now, the way to do this is to simplify the ratios and look at the unit rates. And that brings us back to the goal of using the unit rates. Okay. There is another way, and that'll be goal 2. But for now, let's take care of goal 1. All right. So here we go. If you look at page 60, this is page 60, example 2. We have 3 t-shirts it would help if you saw the problem. There you go. I'll get better at that eventually. 3 t-shirts for $21 and 5 t-shirts for, I believe it's $35. Okay, what are we comparing? Basically, we want to know how much per shirt, right? How much per shirt? Which has the better price? Now, I don't know if you remember this or not, but when we talk about how much, that means money. So money, money, money usually means you're going to need to find unit price. All right. Now, we have 2 different ratios. They compare the same thing. And as always, t-shirts and money. But I just realized if we're going to do unit price, we want to know how much per one. Now, how do you remember that? Because that's what I remembered right now. How much for one? All right. So what I'm doing here, and again, you might want to do it a different way. It's up to you. All right. We have the money. We have $21 for 3 shirts. Right? $21, 3 shirts. And actually, I realized I didn't write the actual ratio. So let me do that right now before I forget. Money on top. T-shirt at the bottom. Okay. So what happens when you go too fast, people? You make simple little mistakes. But we have $21 to $3 again. And then we have $35 for 5. Okay. We're looking for a unit rate. Let's see. And by unit price, because it is unit price is a special kind of unit rate, we want the denominator to be 1. Now, to get the denominator to be 1, we have to divide by the number itself, which is saying we're going to make 3 groups of 1, right? 1, 1, 1. And if we break up the 3 shirts, right? Shirt, 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 group, group, group. That means each one is $7. Okay. This is the unit price, unit rate. And same thing here. We want the unit price. That means 1 has to be the denominator. We're breaking up the 5 shirts into groups of 1. 1 shirt, 1 shirt, 1 shirt. And you notice I'm not going to draw dots. I think by now you get the idea. 5 shirts, $35. That means each one is, if you do your math right, 7. All right. These rates, let me write this a little differently. Come down. This is a rate. Right? I want you to see what's going on. They both come down to the same unit price. I know it says unit rate, but the way I wrote it, it's unit price. Okay? How much for 1? Came out to $7 for 1. $7 for 1. And since the rates have the same unit price, unit rate, they're equivalent. All right. So the answer is the rates are equivalent. Okay. Because that was our goal, was this rate, are these rates the same? It's like if you go to two different stores. You go to the Santa Monica Pier, you go shopping for souvenirs. One shop says 3 shirts for 21, 5 shirts for 35. You're like, well, which one's the better deal? You do the math and you find out, hey, it's the same thing. Doesn't matter which one I go to. All right. Anyways, that is example number 2. Now I'm going to go ahead and do the got it's. This is page 60 still. Got it. Page 60. All right. Let me read the directions again. Determine if each pair of rates is equivalent. All right, so we have 2 rates. Are they equivalent? Are they the same? All right, so now again, equivalent. It just means the relationship's the same, not that the numbers are the same. All right, so we have 2 rates. Letter A, it says 36 t-shirts in 3 boxes. All right, looks like we're doing t-shirts per box, right? T-shirts per box. We have 2 different rates. We have 36 t-shirts in 3 boxes. And we also have 60 t-shirts in 6 boxes. Again, I'll write the same thing here so we don't forget what it means. All right. We want to know the unit price, unit rate. In this case, there is no per unit price because we're not talking about money. So if you notice, I can say prate. You ever do that? You want to say one word, and you think you're going to say it, but then you think of something else at the last minute? Yeah, don't do that. Slow down. Deep breath, people. All right. We're going to see if we can make a unit rate out of this and see what it is. All right. I want 1 is a denominator. 1 is a denominator. I'm going to divide by 6 here. Divide by 6 here. So if you can imagine 6 boxes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 60 divided by 6. If there's 6 boxes, that means there's going to be 10 t-shirts per box. Now same thing here. 3 boxes, I'm going to divide by 3. That means each box is going to have 12 t-shirts per box. Okay. Are these rates equivalent? No. The rates are not equivalent. Why? What's the reason? The unit rates, and here's the reason. The unit rates are not the same. So, your answer is going to have 2 parts. Answer in 2 parts. Okay? 1. Equivalent. The first one answers the question. Equivalent? Yes or no. The second part answers what gives you why. Okay? So, again, yes, the rates are equivalent. No, the rates are not equivalent. Right? And I'll make a little flow chart in a little bit. Okay? But let's go on. Letter B. 42 flowers. 7 vases. Okay, I'm going to do something a little differently here. I know I probably shouldn't have done this, but since I wrote it like this, let's go with it. 54 flowers and 9 vases. Ooh, I like that. Look at that. Kind of neat, isn't it? Flowers to vases, 54 to 9, 42 to 7. All right, there's our rates. Are they equivalent? Do they express the same relationship? All right, let's write it differently here. 42 to 7, 54 to 9. Okay. The whole goal is to use unit rates. To get unit rates, you have to have a denominator of 1. Denominator of 1. Divide by 9, Divide by 7. If you notice I'm going kind of fast, eventually you guys will, oops, sorry about that, hit the document camera. All right, 6 to 1. Divide by 9, 6 to 1. All right, so 6 flowers per vase. And you know what? It's the same thing. The relationship is for every vase, there are 6 flowers. For every vase, 6 flowers. It's the same relationship. 6 to 1. 6 to 1. This just says 6 to 1 7 times. It expresses it 7 times. Right? 6 plus 6 plus 6. It's like 6. You have 6 vases. Sorry. 7 vases. You have 7 vases. And each vase has 6 flowers. So 7 times 6, 42. It goes back to that. And this expresses 6 to 1 9 times. 6 to 1, 6 to 1, 6 to 1, 6 to 1, 6 to 1. All right. So are the rates equivalent? Yes. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Yes. The rates are equivalent. Here's number 1. Might as well number it so you know where we're going. I'm just following the pattern. The rates are equivalent. Why? The unit rates are the same. I don't know if you actually caught that. There's a pattern here. No, the rates are not equivalent. The unit rates are not the same. Not equivalent, not same. Right? Okay, bad English there, but you get the idea. All right, that leads us to, I believe, goal number 2. Actually, no, you know what? We have more got it's. Lucky you. We're going to do it. You know that. Look, guys. You're watching me. You're copying this, I hope. But, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again many, many, many times. If you get a chance, or when you get a chance, do the problems on your own. See if you can do the same thing I just did. Okay? If you can, then you know you got it. Easy peasy. All right. So C. Again, Marcia made 10 bracelets for 5 friends. Jen made 12 bracelets for 4 friends. Are these rates equivalent? Explain your reasoning. Okay, before you do any of the math, take care of the English. What are we comparing? Marcia made 10 bracelets for 5 friends. Bracelets for friends. Okay, you have to see the relationship is, you know what, let me write the question. Because really, you should be asking yourself when you work with ratios, what is the relationship we're talking about? All right. For all these problems, what is the relationship? Take care of the English part first. What is the relationship? Now, reading the problem again, it's about bracelets. And by the way, do you have to do it the way I'm doing it? No. I kind of like putting it in the middle now. It kind of makes sense to me. I don't know. But you find your way. If you want to do it the way I was doing it before, fine. If you have your own way of doing it, do it your way. Many ways to get the same answer. Bracelets, friends. We have Marcia, I believe. Marcia on one side, and we have Jen on the other. Marcia makes 10 bracelets for 5 friends. Jen makes 12 bracelets for 4 friends. All right. Let's see what we got. 10 to 5, 4 to 1. Oops. Kind of projected an answer already, but it's really not it. You got to be in the moment, guys. Be in the moment. 12 to 4. We want unit rates. Unit rates. It's a little crooked. Better. Unit rates. Unit rates. We want the denominator to be 1. Denominator to be 1. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. I'm making 4 groups. Each group of 1. 4 groups. 4 groups of 3. Yeah. That makes sense? Yeah. 4 groups of 3. And then 5 groups. right? Each group's going to have 1. Break this into 5 groups. Each group will have 2. Uh-oh. Unit rates are not the same. Right? Oh, you know what that means. Okay. So we just found out the unit rates are not the same. So what does that tell us about the equivalent? What does that tell us about the rates? Yeah, the rates aren't the same. Now, of course, the question I could ask you is, what can we do to make it the same? What can we change the denominator to be here? What can we make the denominator into to make it into an equivalent rate? But that's for later. We'll do that in class, I hope. Okay? Anyways, so the answer then is the rates are not equivalent. And you see the reason. It's not the same relationship, right? But how are you going to say it's not the same relationship? There's a better way to say that. The unit rates are not the same. Easy peasy. All right. Let's do one more. Letter D. Club A raised $168 by washing 42 cars. Club B raised $152 by washing 38 cars. Are these fundraising rates equivalent? Explain your reasoning. All right. Oof. All right. Looks like we're comparing money and cars. So it looks like we're trying to find unit price. Right, there it is. Looks like we're trying to find unit price, but hey, let's just go with rates for now. We have Club A. We have Club B. Club A has made $168 washing 42 cars. And Club B made $152 washing 38 cars. Oof, oh boy. Okay, we're going to have to make unit rates out of this. You know it and I know it. Here we go with the math. Okay. Unit rates. We want the denominator to be 1. Denominator to be 1. We're going to divide by 42. We're going to divide by 42. Sometimes you just got to do the math. Now, do a little long division. 42 into 168. All right. Some of you don't like this. I get it. Let's break it apart. I'm going to say this is about 40. Right, 40. But let's do this anyways. I'm looking at the 4. I'm looking at the 1. Can I make groups of 4 out of 1? Let me highlight it, because maybe you can't see what I'm looking at. I'm trying to break this down into something I can do in my head. Can I make groups of 4 out of 1? No. What about 16? Yes. I can make 4 groups, again. 4 groups of 4 out of 16. But where do I put that first digit? Now this is where you look at the big picture again. I'm making groups of 42. I can't make groups of 42 out of 16, but I can out of 168. All right. So, put my 4 there. Let me use pencils. Apparently, highlighter's no good on pencil, or other way around. 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 4 is 16. Okay. 4 to 1. Now let's see about this bad boy here. 38. 152. I should be using pencil. Just bear with me here. Let's see if this works. Alright. Again, I'm looking at the 3. I'm looking at the 1. I can't make groups of 3 out of 1, but I can make groups of 3 out of 15. Now let's try 5. It might work, it might not. But I skipped a step. We're making about 40. Can I make groups of 40 out of 15? No. So the first digit will go here. It does matter where you put that first digit. So let's try. We said 4? We said 5. Now let's try 5. 5 times 8 is 40. It's hard to see, but you get the idea. 5 times 3 is 15, plus 4 is 19. Nope, already know it's not going to work. So if I don't have enough for 5 groups, that means I have to have, let's try 4. 4 might not even work, but you know what? We're not going to know until we actually try it. Let me use pen. This should work. 4 times 8, 32. Carry the 3. 4 times 3 is 12, plus 3 is 15. Well, look at that. Same ratio. $4 per car. $4 per car. The same relationship. For every car, you get $4. So they made more money because they washed more cars. But the rate's the same. Maybe if they had more time, they would get the same amount. Who knows? But they ended up getting the same amount per car. So, not bad. Oh, forgot to answer it. So, are these rates equivalent? Yes. I'm going to write the answer here because I don't want to go to another page. The rates are equivalent. Why? The unit rates are the same. Okay. Any? I guess I was gonna say if there's any questions, not like you can respond. So let's keep going. Goal number 2. Goal number 2. Use equivalent fractions. Okay, I don't know why I wrote essay. I don't know what I'm thinking. But I'll change it right now, don't worry. Use equivalent fractions. And this is why you do things in pencil. Yay! So, I could restart, but I'm not going to do that. I'll let it dry and I'll fix it later. You're going to use equivalent fractions. Okay, so sometimes it's not easy. It's not easy to find unit rate. Sometimes it's not. It's just the way it's going to go. Sometimes it's not. So you're going to use equivalent fractions. So you use equivalent fractions. Now, of course, it's easy for me to say that. It's easy for me to say it, but the best way to learn it is to do it. So we're looking at page 61. Let me see if I can raise this up a little bit because I keep hitting the camera. I don't think you want me to do that. And let me zoom out. There you go. I think you can still see it. This is page 61. Number 4. All right, determine if the pair of ratios or rates is equivalent. Explain your reasoning. All right. 3 free throws made out of 7 attempts. 9 free throws made out of 14 attempts. All right. It looks like we're talking about free throws and attempts. I'm going to do pencil. Use pencil, excuse me. Free throws and attempts. All right. We have 3 to 7 and 9 to 14. All right. Here's the deal. In both cases, we're scaling up, right? We're scaling up. Now, ratios behave like fractions. We have the ratio 3 to 7. For every 3 free throws, it's because this person made 7 attempts, right? Or for every 7 times the person threw the ball, they only made it 3 times. And same with this. For every 14 times they threw the ball, they only made it 9 times. You're scaling up. Is this the same relationship? Is it the same base? Well, yeah, the same basing groups, same base groups. Now, I know I can go from 3 to 9. I can scale up by 3. 3 groups of 3 gives me 9. To go from 7 to 14, I know I can scale up by 2. All right. I have a 3 and I have a 2. That means the fractions are not equivalent. Again, when you're making equivalent fractions, you have to multiply the numerator and denominator by the same factor. Okay? So the fractions are not equivalent. The fractions are not equivalent. Why? They are not scaled up by the same factor. And I shouldn't say they. Something about that rubs me wrong. Because really I'm talking about, I'll just be like that. But you understand that this is not the same factor. Okay, this is kind of a three-parter. And then the third thing would to say then that means the rates are not equivalent. That means the rates are not equivalent. Now, here's the deal. Honestly, you could have tried making unit rates out of this. Divide by 7, divide this by 7, divide this by 7, or divide this by 14, excuse me. But you're going to have decimal numbers or fractions on top of another number, and I know you guys don't like that. So if you can't make a unit rate easily, see if you can scale up or scale down easily. Okay? Again, we'll do more examples. One is not going to be enough. All right? But regardless of what I just said, play with the numbers. Juggle them. See what happens. See, maybe you can make it work out. All right, so this is page 62. We're going to do example number 5. And then we'll do the God that goes right there. All right. Selena is comparing the cost of 2 packages of DVDs. A package of 6 DVDs costs $90, and a package of 3 DVDs costs $45. Are the rates equivalent? Okay. We're talking about DVD per money. Since we're not doing unit rates or unit price, you don't have to worry about putting the money on top like I normally would. But the way the problem lists it, again, I'll show you. I'm not making this up. DVD, money. DVD, money. All right. We have 2 ratios. I'm going to use the smaller number first. Actually, it really doesn't matter. But you know what? Here, I'm kind of caught in a dilemma here. 6 to $90. 3 to 45. Now, the reason I was having a bit of a dilemma, I didn't think about this until right now when I looked at it the second time around. You have to divide by 2, right? 6 divided by 2 is 3. 90 divided by 2 is 45. And that's great. But I realize some of you don't like division. So just to make it easy for yourself, the numbers with this, the ratio with the smallest numbers maybe should go first. And the numbers with the bigger, the ratio with the bigger numbers should go second. Because now you can say, oh, well, now I'm going to multiply. I like multiplication. In other words, either way is fine. Instead of scaling down, you have to scale up, which means if you're going to scale up, you'll have to multiply. Some of you can see this a lot easier than division. But either way, we're using the same factor, and that means the fractions, that means the ratios are equivalent. Okay? So let me write that down. The ratios, now if you notice, I'm already writing it a little differently. And that's the thing. You can write what I said differently. Okay? It just depends whatever you're comfortable with. You can answer the question directly like I just did. Are the ratios or rates equivalent? The ratios are equivalent. Why? The fractions are equivalent. And I apologize for my sloppy writing. So look, this really is a ratio. 6 DVDs, $90, 3 DVDs, $45. But for the moment, I took away the English part of it. I took away the real world part of it. I just left it as numbers, like a fraction. And then, so I follow the rules of a fraction, right? The factors are the same. Scaling up, scaling down, the factors are the same. All right, let's do letter E. I got it, letter E. And then we'll move on. I think we'll be done, and you'll do guided practice tomorrow. All right, or whenever. Mrs. Jeffries has 12 girls out of the 16 students on the student council. The Earth Day Committee has 4 girls out of 8 students. Are the ratios equivalent? All right. All right. Again, forget the numbers. What are we comparing first? Take care of the English. We have Mrs. Jeffries. I'm assuming it's a teacher. We're talking about girls and 16 students. And then we're talking about another committee has 4 girls out of 8. Okay. So, girls to students. Okay. And we have 12 out of 16. And we have 4 to 8. 4 to 8. Okay. Like I said, you can write it like this, or you can write it like this. In this case, you're going to scale down. You're looking for a smaller number. We have 12. We're making groups of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. How many groups of 4 can we make out of 12? Well, if 4 times 3 gives me 12, that means we're going to break up the 12 into 3 groups. 12 divided by 3 is 4, right? And then 16 divided by 8 is 2, right? I'm making groups of 8. I can make 2 groups of 16. Wait, that didn't make sense. I'm making groups of 8. I'm making 2 groups. 2 groups of 8 is 16. Yeah, that sounds better. If the division didn't make sense, let's try the scaling up. But you can already see what's going to happen. Groups of 4, I can make 3 groups of that. Gives me 12. Groups of 8, I can make 2 groups of that to get 16. All right. The fractions are not the same because the factor is not the same. Okay. So to answer the question then, the ratios are not equivalent. Why? Because the fractions are not equivalent. Okay. If you notice, same thing. Again, always look for that pattern. Not equivalent, not equivalent, not equivalent, not equivalent. There you go. I know I said it like 4 times, but you get the idea. Alright, guys. And that's it for the intro. Again, I suggest you try it out.